Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing there? There I am. Hello, this is
Yeah.
Dr. Michael Kachmar, and this is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Certainly is.
Today's date is October 29th, year of our Lord, 2021.
Halloween weekend.
Halloween.
We're
Hello,
approaching.
hello, everyone. So let's say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, everybody.
So tell everybody where we are, who we are, what we are, and what we're doing
Yeah.
here, and what's the purpose of listening to us. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're a medical news show, so but continue on.
Well, you met Dr. Kachmar. You know me. I'm your old pal, Jeremy, and we are a podcast. We are a
Video podcast.
Video podcast too.
Here
you
I
can
am,
catch
video.
us- you can catch us on everything now. I mean, we're all over the place. We're on Yahoo, Google,
We're on
iTunes, we're on
Twitch,
Audible,
Twitch, Twitter,
But we're also
Instagram.
on YouTube and Instagram and
right.
Facebook, of course, our Facebook Live.
And we're gonna be on Mars soon, by the way.
You can text on any of these things, and I'll get it, and you can join in on the show.
So our podcast people, how do you get to us? It's if you want to send us an email, you could give us a shout at Dr. Kachmar.
It's right
So
there.
that's DrKachmar.
Right there up on the screen for you.
Yeah, well, but the podcast can't see that. So so Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com. So Dr. Kachmar at
Just
iCloud.com.
imagine a screen, and that just popped up.
Now, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube Live, you could give us a shout. Give us
go to
right now, live shout.
Facebook Live, and you got to type in Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center, okay, and you'll find us there. Same thing over on YouTube.
Right.
What do they search there? Is it Dr. Kachmar?
I'll be scrubbing up with Dr. Michael Kachmar, or just
Okay.
Dr. Michael Kachmar. So if you're listening to this, not live right now, and you subscribe to us, and this time it goes live, you could hit us up. If you are live, send us a message. We're monitoring right now.
Yeah.
So let's go, Jeremy. We're going to start the show, and again, this is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. I work out of Toms River, New Jersey, Bayville, and Barnegat, New Jersey. I'm on staff at multiple hospitals: Jersey Shore Medical Center, Southern Ocean County University, Jersey Shore University Medical Center, Community Medical Center. And we're teaching hospitals. We have residents, and I've been in practice for almost 30 years, and I specialize in foot and ankle surgery.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, we've been doing this for about 3 years now. We had a podcast.
A little over.
We have a radio show. And Jeremy, one more time, just tell people, if they want to get to us, what's our phone number? And let me just throw it out: 732. This is our phone number for the office: 732-269-1133. 269-1133.
If you have any problems, you have something on your skin, and you're like, what's that?
You could call us
Dr.
up.
Kachmar is the master of the lower extremities. He's in many ways, he's better than a dermatologist as far as I'm concerned.
Lower extremity, absolutely.
I've seen this man diagnose stuff from a blurry picture, and he was dead on. This guy knows his stuff. So if you got any questions about your feet, you know what they say in the military: you take care of your feet first, because they're going to take you everywhere you're going to go in life.
That's right.
And
That's
it.
right. That's right.
So,
that's right. That's
so
right.
this is the man to go to.
That's absolutely right. So,
and for more information about the man we're talking about, please go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com.
Right. And we are going to these live shows. We're going to start opening up like the last 15 minutes of the show for call-ins. We have the technology. We just got to make sure we have
all through the show. If you have a comment, please text us. Text us in any of the many forums you can find us on, and we'll read your texts in on the live stream, and you'll be part of our show.
Right.
Yeah, do
and
that.
we will be starting to advertise our phone number that you could call live. So
don't be nervous or anything like that. We're just a couple of schmoes from New Jersey having a talk. That's
right. Right. This is an opinion show, by the way. So understand that this is our opinion. So anyway, let's talk about what's brewing and what's going to explode. What's coming up?
Because the world is. I mean, you can you can throw a dart at a board and find a topic to talk about, man, because the world right now is in like this turmoil flux, and
Yeah.
we need smart men like Dr. Kachmar to talk us off the edge. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
well, I don't know how smart I am,
Yeah.
but here's the deal. What's coming up, I see as a huge problem,
Right.
and is this mandate for children to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I see it already
Oh,
because
yeah.
I talk about stuff that I have knowledge about. Again, I'm a foot and ankle surgeon, but I have staff in my office. I have friends who have, 150, staff,
Oh, yeah.
hospital, and
Parents are everywhere.
right,
That's
right,
the
right,
thing. And
right.
as parents, especially with the mandates they're trying to force on our children, we're starting to feel the flames lick a little higher, and we're getting agitated about it.
Yeah, so listen. I've gotten vaccinated. I had my booster actually a couple weeks ago.
Mm.
So it's not that we're anti-vax, and I think that.
Oh, did you see the picture of President Biden with the hidden booster shot he was getting? Like they were going to, Mr. President, here, let me give you this within camera reach, and then he puts his hand up to hide
Really?
the injection.
Why did he do that?
Why does he do that?
Who knows? Anyway, I can't do that stuff. But here's the deal. There's a lot of patients of mine telling me that they're not going to have their kids vaccinated, and they'll take them out of school if it's mandated.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw this out there because first of all, I am totally against any mandate. I'm for the vaccine, and I think it should be voluntary. And I'm going to give you my opinion and just tell you what I see. I'm at the webpage right now of the CDC. So I reference all my information I'm pulling out here is from the CDC.org. And this is information, that's today. So here's the statistics right now. So let's just put it, there's 411 million vaccines administered.
Mm.
Okay. So, 189 million plus people who are fully vaccinated. So what does that represent? So 57.2% of the US population has been fully vaccinated. 62% have at least one dose, which means in another few weeks, they're going to, they should get it. Not guaranteed, but they should. So hospitalizations, down a 10% change in the difference from last week of deaths and hospitalization. So it's going down. Okay, so follow me now. Think about what I just said. Almost 190 million people in the United States are fully vaccinated. Probably 60, 70 million people had the virus already. So you're pushing numbers, 250 million. A lot of people in this country have been vaccinated. Now, interesting.
And you also got to bear in mind, a lot of those people were on the fence, like a lot of us are now, and they had to make their decisions. And some said, "Okay, I'll finally get the jab," and others were like, "No, I'm going to be steadfast with what I believe for me and my family," and that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to give it. Of course, the statistics that they're saying here is still true that that people who are not vaccinated have a more chance of getting the virus and being hospitalized, and that's one statistic that we see.
Well, now from what I've heard, though, we're also in the middle of a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Now, but that's a scary statement because it implies it's just the act of getting vaccinated that's important regardless, and everybody needs to get it, and it doesn't mention age groups or anything.
Well,
like
no,
that.
but here's though, yes and no. So again, let me finish my.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Before you, so because you look at the statistics are very hard, even for me. I mean, I trained. When we look at medical journals and you look at trends and statistics and see what's happening is that the American public, who most people are pretty sharp, but you guys are clueless when it comes to medicine, number one. Yeah. Clueless when it comes, my patients, half of them don't know the difference between a virus, bacteria, or, a fungi. And,
because a lot of our basic Americans go to as
Us.
professionals like you,
Yeah, and your brain,
because
yeah,
you're
right,
the
right,
brain
right,
bank
right.
for us for that, for
So
information.
what's happening is, I look at the CDC and I try to pour through their statistics and I get a freaking headache.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
so let me just make another. So that's why when you read, you have to read. Look at these statistics, look at what's coming out, look at trends, and try then to extrapolate an idea where you're at and where you want to go, and then recommend things. So this is another thing. This is as of October 21st. Now this is on cdc.org webpage. I'm just reading this verbatim. As of October 21st, 2021, 96% of the people ages 65 years or older have received at least one dose of the vaccine, and 84.5% are fully vaccinated. Let me just make sure you understand that. So the highest risk patients that we know are the highest risk. This has been proven from, day one when it started in China.
Right, right.
Okay. So you're looking at herd immunity in the older people. I mean, that's pretty good statistics.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're
considering a year ago, this time a year ago, they were saying there couldn't possibly be a way to force people to get the vaccination.
These people got it on their own.
Yeah. But my point is, though, they were saying we couldn't possibly make that amount of people get it, and it has done. It's worked.
Right.
The people that have comorbidities have gotten it because they know it's the safest thing for them.
So let me finish. So more than 3/4, 79.2% of people ages 18 years or older have received at least one dose, and 68.7% are fully vaccinated. Okay, so now we're talking about 60-year-olds. They're way past herd immunity. 18 and older are way past immunity. For people ages 12 years and older, 77.4% have received at least one dose of vaccine, and 66.9% are fully vaccinated. So
that's a bigger number than I thought it was.
So what I'm getting at is I'm looking at these statistics. I don't know how many people are in the United States, but I start cooking the numbers here, and I'm like, who's left? Why do we need mandates? Now, maybe
that was like the most innocent and honest thing I've ever heard. Who was left?
I mean, so think about it now. Listen. So now what I'm saying is what's coming down, the CDC, again, you could read it here. They're recommending or okaying now, I should say recommend that children between 5 and I guess 15, because it's 16 and above could get the vaccine now, are eligible for the vaccine or will be. And I think they're going to release it in November and say, it starts in November.
Why November? Why not now?
I don't know. I mean, well, it's right around the corner. I guess they have to start.
What was the wait?
I think maybe they got it
different.
No, well, first of all, I think you have to get the pediatricians keyed up and distribution and protocols.
You gotta do your mind bending a
but,
little on
but,
the people.
But here's the thing: if you read
right,
so if you read the CDC, the FDA argument, and the doctors are out there who are on the panel, and they've written statements, and the way I read it is they're saying this is not risk-free. What they're saying is the risk, follow me now, the risk of not getting the vaccine, not getting it, it's just is a greater risk of harm to you than getting the vaccine. That's different than saying the vaccine's risk is not harmful.
Yeah.
What they're saying is, it's the lesser of two evils. That's what they're really saying. The lesser, and they're going to monitor it.
See, here's the thing, though. This is as a parent myself, okay?
Right.
And I've had to make this decision myself for my 15-year-old son, okay? The scare isn't about whether they're going to get coronavirus or not, because they can't die. They're not going to die from it, or not a lot. I mean, the odds are that they probably won't. But the problem is it's not what happens today, it's what happens tomorrow down the line. Or is my kid going to be able to have children of his own, let me 20 years from now?
Okay, let me go back and say there's and again, I'm trying to pull up the statistics here, but it's not without it's not that easy, because I think there was like at least 2 million kids who got coronavirus, and I think 8,000 of them were hospitalized.
Mm.
And, some of these kids could have and may have long-term sequelae, long-term problems from getting the virus.
Yeah.
The question is,
From the virus or the vaccine?
no, from the virus. They
the
weren't
virus.
vaccinated. None of
Okay.
these kids are right, because they weren't allowed yet. So
Right.
there's kids who have cardiac issues. I'm talking about not having corona itself.
Oh.
Just like there's a lot of adults who had corona and they still have symptoms. They have problems.
They're dealing with some stuff. I got
So-
some close friends that
so,
are.
so I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give both sides of the coin here. The vaccine is not without its a potential harm.
Right.
Getting coronavirus at a young age also has potential harm. Now, is the harm death? Maybe not as high or maybe very small, but there is a hospitalization and there's prolonged illness. Maybe these kids who get this inflammation of their heart seems to be short-lived. So the other thing here that complicates matters, or not complicate, but it does, is therapeutics. Let's just say you say, listen, I don't want my child to get it, but if they do get it, are they eligible and can they get the therapeutics? I don't know that, like the monoclonal antibodies and the ivermectin and whatever else they have. And they, again, there's two things there. Do they work? And I think a lot of people and a lot of evidence that they do work. But the other side of the coin is, do they cause damage themselves?
Right.
I mean, we talk about the hydrochloroquine. I mean, and my brother takes it. Other people take it, but it has side effects also. And so
see, that's the thing. That's the thing on the parent issue, and this whole get the jab, don't get the jab sort of thing. They've tried so many ways of strong arming people, be it losing their livelihoods.
Well,
which no, I'm going to boomerang back. Okay. Losing their livelihoods, buying them off, you name it. The one thing they never really tried was absolute transparency about the vaccine. I understand all of that, but what research have you made as far as long-term issues to date? See, that's not what they're not busy telling us all of that. And for parents, that is as much part of our fear of this decision making than anything else.
Right. Well, hold that thought, because there's a lot of issues here that I want to bring. So, you have the CDC. They are trying to show the studies, and again, the vaccine. There are some complications, and that's for sure. But you have to. What I recommend, and I'm telling people right now, before you have your child vaccinated, go onto the CDC webpage. And I know there's people saying, "Oh, they're corrupt." They're pretty good, and try to look at the information. It's a great place to go. It's one thing to go to CNN, Fox News, wherever, but you really should be going. You should talk to your pediatrician for sure. Okay, and some pediatricians, I'm very sure there's differences in opinion there, but I think you need to do your homework on this. And I'm trying to bring some clarity here. It's a very tough question. Even the experts who are saying, listen, we think that the risk of getting the vaccine are less than the risk of not getting it. You follow what I'm saying? There's a double. But they're not saying it's risk-free, and they're saying that we're going to monitor it. And if we see any downsides, we're going to put a kibosh on it. Now, so you need to read that, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to say, listen, there's not a yes or no. No kids should get it, and yes, kids should get it. How about this? I don't think there should be a mandate, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But let me just hold that thought, because the mandate does certain things. But if your child has comorbidities, that may change the paradigm to where you might want to get the child to get a vaccination. Okay.
Right.
And again, you need to talk to a pediatrician. You need to go on I would go to cdc.org and try to drill down. It looks like some males may have more complications with the vaccine than females, stuff like that. But so here's the other argument. Let's just say, what do people tell me? And I hear this all the time. Why don't you just get the vaccine? Okay. You hear this, I hear this. So let's just talk about children now, because they may mandate it, which I think is a big mistake. Why are they mandating it? Why are they mandating, Jeremy, I'll ask you this question. Why are they mandating children? What's the argument? forget about, they're not going to get get sick. Let's just say that they don't get sick that bad.
Right.
Why is the government and other people, well, I understand the CDC is recommending it, but they're not mandating it. Why is the government mandating? What's their reason? What's their argument? Why are they saying they're mandating it? Do you have you have an idea?
Well, see, I'm learning that a lot of the issues that we're going through, and this may not be what the answer you were looking for, but it's the only answer I have. I've been looking at things as more of a bigger picture than as a small one. But
When did that start, Jeremy?
It just started 5 seconds ago when you asked me the question.
As long as you're not narrow-minded, but go ahead.
Like, okay,
Go ahead.
so here, I just did
because this is going to explode in next month. This is going to explode. This country is going to explode.
Guess what, Mike?
We're right on the cutting edge of this one.
The Winter Olympics are coming ever closer in China.
So
that's
why?
Gonna be a
what have you? When you talk to people or you hear on the news, what's the argument? Why are people who are saying, why don't you get your kids vaccinated? What's the reason? What's the danger if you don't? What's the danger if you don't get your kids?
Is giving
what are the kids going to do?
Giving the government a foothold that they shouldn't have.
No.
It's part of it though. It's part of it though. I just did the definition of martial law. Okay. And it says here, military government involving the suspension of ordinary law. This is being done in so many ways all across our country, and mandating things is a tiny step in that direction. That's what we're going to do. They're already making differences for the laws. This vaccine was put into effect under emergency.
Well, it still is emergency. It's not. Well, they're saying it's not. So listen. I understand where you're coming from.
That's the fears.
Yeah.
These are the fears people are dealing with. So you can't answer anything so cut and dry anymore.
No. Well, what you're saying is the fear is that it's a slippery slope with government overreach.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. Well, I'm going to be a little bit more, down to earth. And what people tell me is this. And my patients,
because you have to remember, Mike, it all started with people who have comorbidities need to get this vaccine right away, and now ever since then, it's been trickling down to our children.
Okay,
and that's scary. That is a martial law taking effect and being abused.
Right, I agree with you. It's an overreach, but I don't believe in mandates. I think it's a big mistake. But here's where it's going to come and bite them in the ass. Follow me on this one, okay? Because you know me, I look at the so we're going to mandate. I hear, why are we mandating children? Because, listen, they could spread it. They could get it. We don't want them to die, but we also, these little kids could be spreading the virus, and the teachers could get sick, and grandma could get sick, and pop, and so they're the vectors. They're the ones that we got to deal with. They're going to overload the hospital, which doesn't look like the case. So but they're going to spread it. So follow me.
All right.
So how are they going to spread it? Right, to who? If you're the mother and father, then you get the vaccine. If you're the grandfather and grandma, get the vaccine. If you're the teacher, get the vaccine. It's probably a lot safer. The odds are right now that it's safer in an adult than the children, because we don't know what's going to happen with children. So my point is that where's the danger if they, other than to their personal self? In other words, we don't want the kids to get sick. And if the vaccine will save them from having a hospitalization and comorbidities, sequelae, problems in the future, great. But what if that's not the case? In other words, let's just say that most of the kids, 99% of them, they get it and they'll be fine. What's the other reason? The other reason, listen to me. The other reason that people are saying they should get the vaccine, Jeremy, is because they could spread it. Yeah. They could be now. How many people now who are fully vaccinated are getting corona? A lot. I just had a patient in my office. Her mother and father are fully vaccinated for months and months and months, and they're sick. They're not dying, but they're going to get monoclonal, antibodies and blah 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 blah. Well, they could spread it. So my point is, you're going to mandate. This is the craziness here. This is what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to me. You're going to mandate children to get it for the reason that they're not going to spread it. Well, even if they do get the vaccine, they could still get sick and they could still spread it. So, maybe not as much. Then you can say, well, it's not as much,
is-
Dr. Kachmar, but how much then? So how about we don't mandate it? If your parents, you talk to the pediatrician, you look at the CDC, and you think that your children are higher risk of corona complications as opposed to the vaccine, then you do it. But I don't agree with this argument that you need to be altruistic and get your kids inoculated because you might kill some old guy at Wawa.
Right.
That's bullshit. Like, wow, the guy at Wawa,
Well,
you see what I'm saying? You see the difference there?
Yeah,
That's
no,
why I'm
it's a
saying
par-
why.
it's a
So
paradox.
but there's
That's
good,
what it is.
what I'm saying is there's good people who are mandating this. They're not bad people. Listen, these people, I know we talk about, the left, and they're not bad people, and they have a good idea what they want to do, but they're not, to me, if you think it all the way through, it doesn't make sense. Now, what were you going to say?
Well, no, I mean, what you said is 100% correct, and that is the when you start to grind the thought muscles here on the little gray cells.
Yeah. See, now what I just said. What do you think of what I said?
Because that's what's I think that's what's going the thought that's going through.
What's the goal? What's the goal
of the Americans here?
You could say it's overreach and they want to control us. The next thing is they're going to take our guns away, and then
we get the coronavirus.
We have, and listen, I heard somewhere like in China, or somebody said to me, I thought this is bullshit. They said you're not allowed to have a mustache in China, something shit like that. But I just started looking. I don't think I ever seen like on the pictures of people
have you
in
seen
Korea.
some of the mustaches that they're growing out there nowadays?
Are you allowed? Are you allowed?
Not be so outlandish of a law.
I mean, because somebody was telling me, listen, they're mandating injections. Next, they're going to take your guns away, and then you're not going to be able to have a mustache.
People are taking on the same look as the old bad guys in a silent movie did when they were roping somebody to the train tracks.
You know what it is? I don't think I've ever
in distress.
But I'm just saying, I don't think I ever met. I never saw anywhere on TV or not to digress here, a Chinese person, somebody from China with a mustache or a beard.
Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
is that Japanese?
I don't see. Listen, let's not. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. You might be careful with that. But anyway, so get back to overreach, and
there's the coronavirus. Okay, right. So now we got to put in a vaccine under emergency situations to take care of it. I mean, anybody with a comorbidity is going to have to get it because it's going to save their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay. Mm-hmm. But now when they get into because that's fact. Okay, that it's believable information that's being given to us. Okay.
Right.
So now it's this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and the unvaccinated are going to infect the vaccinated. And then the paradox lays, well, if I'm being vaccinated to protect me against the infection, but I can get it anyway from somebody who's unvaccinated, does the vaccine work? And that's where it all falls apart. There's your paradox right there. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that no matter how and which way you come about it to think about the situation, it all falls down to that. None of this makes sense.
Right. Well, they have we talk about the mask mandates too, and again, people don't use the mask right and everything. It was just in the news, some guy punched a airline stewardess and broke her nose over what they say in the news was a mask issue. I don't think he wanted to wear it, and I still think I don't know if I heard they duct taped him. I love this. I gotta. This is amazing to me that I've never seen that happen. But they if you get rowdy in a plane, evidently there's some airlines they got duct tape back there and they gang rush you and tape. Anyway, but she broke. Here I don't know if it's a woman or man got their nose broke, which is terrible. But it's over.
So you're duct taped to the chair.
Well, I guess they put the mask on him then. I don't know. Maybe they put duct tape with a couple holes in it so he could breathe.
And the only reprieve you get is when the drinks trolley comes down the aisle.
Right. So listen, I just wanted to throw this out because I wanted to spend the first half of the show on what's going to happen. I don't know the answer to this. I have. Virginia's granddaughter, she's 8 years old. She's mixed raced. Some people say that, because when I was doing my training, there's a higher level of colon cancer in certain groups of people and this and that. And, with this vaccine, it might be more detrimental to say boys as opposed to girls and what age and, how high risk. So if almost everybody in this country, 18 and above, or herd immunity.
Mm.
Okay. Which means when I say herd immunity, there's probably not going to be much transmission of the virus as much. Okay. That's what happens. It stops, there's not enough people there to carry it. Now, maybe even though they had the vaccine, they could carry it. This is unknown, but let's just say it's minimal. The kids may not be exposed to it. And maybe, if you have kids, who do have a cold or get sick, don't even let them go into the school. We may be able to, control it that way, and of course, treat them with top oral medication.
Mm.
So getting back to this, I don't know the answer, but I can tell you right now, a lot of parents are going to make the decision in the next month. If the federal government, now I don't think they mandated yet for the schools. I'm not there right yet, but I hear everybody is. I know the private sector has. So hospitals, airlines, right? And police. I hear right now there's a bunch of police ready to walk in New York City next week. They're not going to take the vaccine, and you can make. And I listen. I don't think it should be mandated. If you're pregnant or you have the antibodies, why do you need it? I mean, really, you got Rand Paul, I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's coming out saying, listen, if you got antibodies, you don't need it. You got national immunity.
See, that was a point in this timeline from the minute that COVID reared its ugly head. We went through a timeline where we were saying one thing because it meant something, and it was the right thing to do to get the vaccines out there. Just up until Trump was assassinated and forced out of the office.
Yeah, a bloodless assassination.
Yeah, bloodless assassination.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yep.
And then after that, now at the start of it, Biden's blaming the vaccine on Trump. Now
the virus on Trump.
No. The vaccine on Trump. Now,
what do you mean he's blaming it?
He's saying, he did the vaccine all wrong. He forced the vaccine just to get into the office. Now he's in the office. Now he's taking ownership of the vaccine.
Yeah, listen, those people are crazy. I wouldn't listen to anything they say.
The thing is that there's a timeline of events that happen.
Yeah.
Where what we believed about what was going on with this vaccine was changing every day. And now they're throwing so much
crap at you.
Yeah. Some ridiculous shit. Excuse my French.
Right. Well,
and now no one knows how to feel about it. We're talking about it too. We were talking about it in the car right here, and neither one of us could figure it out.
No.
It's
and
ridiculous.
because here's what happened.
And they stifle you. They stifle your voice if you even try to talk about it.
That's another whole thing. You see, Facebook's changing their name to Metaverse. And because
are they really?
Yeah, they changed it.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, and the whole idea is that we're interfacing with the internet right now, but they're talking about you're going to become part of the internet. In other words, they're looking at it a alternative
and
reality,
with it, their own brand of control.
Right, and here's the thing. You know what reality is? I'm reality. Yeah. You're reality.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't do drugs. I mean, I have a couple of drinks once in a while, wine with dinner, but people want to escape. But let me just get back to this thing about mandates and masks and kids and everything. And what you're talking about is what do you believe and don't believe? Here's the thing. I've been watching the news for years. I used to watch CNN and believe everything I heard. I knew there was some bias once in a while, like NPR, public broadcasting. They were a little to the left, but they had great product. And now, after all the bull crap that went down, especially with Trump, how they, the Russian collusion and, Jerry Nadler, I got information guaranteed. And, bullshit after bullshit, Kamala Harris and Biden, that's not our vaccine. I wouldn't take it. On and on and on and on and on. And so these people, I don't know if anybody says to them, do you realize you're friggin' lying? How much bullshit?
And I think that's the one thing that's changed.
Right.
The one thing that hasn't changed is the vaccine and the virus. Everything else, the main things that have changed are what they're saying about them.
Right. So my point is, how do you expect parents to believe even the CDC? I mean, I know on your other show, we have one of our colleagues who I have a lot of respect for. She thinks the CDC is so effing corrupt. And, I don't blame her because, they've come out and the CDC and the World Health Organization. Yeah. I just read an article, Trump wanted to disband. They came out and said there was no problem with this thing. Fauci came out and said, there's nothing here to see. And then he said, don't wear a mask. And then all of them have been either disingenuous, lying, stupid, or a combination of everything. I don't know. And so you sit there and you scratch your head and you go, what the hell do we believe? So I'm trying to throw it out here. I'm a physician. I've been around a long time. Not everybody in the CDC, and probably the vast majority, are not corrupt, not off the wall. And there's a lot of papers there. But what happens is, it's hard to understand the data, and people in politics take the data and manipulate it for their agenda.
Mm.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. I have no agenda. We're here. We're here in my house. We're in a studio in Tom's River.
Yeah.
We're local Joes. I mean, we're not,
we speak out, we keep to our subject is medicine. Okay. But it's unfortunate that the only thing that we can talk about.
Well, this is medicine, but it's politics.
Yeah, it stretches in.
Right.
But we're just trying to speak out against how wrong everything feels.
Well, unfortunately, we're in a world right now where, and you look at all the kids. I mean, see, this is, and you and I are strong. You got the highest suicide rates right now.
Oh,
the highest drug addiction and overdosing right now.
Our kids, kids that we're trying to make decisions for, are killing themselves because they're lost in this new world.
You're throwing this shit out there that nobody could understand. I went and got a vaccine, so my booster. They asked me, what's my gender? Okay, I'm male, female. That's easy for me to pick out. Okay, for me anyway. And I have nothing against anybody. My one good buddy, Alex, his brother, is transgender. He had sex change. The guy was miserable. It's tragic. And he's the greatest guy in the world. And that's not the point. The point is that affects me now. I get asked, what's my gender? Then they go, what's your preference? I'm getting a booster. They're putting it.
That's right.
They go, what's your preference? I said, I mean, what do you, I said, what do you mean? Hetero, bi, I said, I'm a man. I guess I like women, I don't know what, you're like, I'm a man. I'm a heterosexual. Okay. Then.
No, this is a question.
Yeah. They're asking for a booster shot.
Never had to explain in such detail.
No. First of all, it's none of their effing business, And if I like ponies,
what you just said there, it's none of their effing business. That's as far as it should ever go.
But they asked me one other question.
Yeah.
What was I born as? And I said, I'm American, I think, and he goes, no, because I thought it was like a passport question,
right.
He goes, no, what were you born as? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, were you born as a male or female? So I'm sitting there going,
how old are you?
60. I'm 64.
You're 64 years old. So 64 years ago, they are assuming that you have at the moment of your birth came out and said you were X or Y.
Listen. My point is we're in a Allison. Here it is. Up is down, sideways.
Yeah.
But so for me, like I feel bad for these parents because they don't know what to do. They don't know who to listen. They listen to one radio show and everybody's like, you're a criminal if you don't get your kids vaccinated. You're anti-American. And then the other side, you listen and they're like, if you capitulate, next thing they're going to make you, shave your head and walk backwards. So it's just crazy right now.
We could do the same thing. I mean, people voted for Biden, didn't they?
81 million.
81 million people.
I haven't seen. I only know two.
States citizens in good standing voted for a senile old man.
All right, easy now. Easy.
No.
Come on, he's our president.
I'm not saying anything that has not already been said by better men than me.
I know, but you got to respect. Listen, I understand. We're going to respect the office, but I can tell.
I do respect the office. I respect our president, Donald Trump. And
well, you say that because I know. See, you push the show going this way because you hang out with you hang out with Dr. Schneider, and she's to the.
I just want to tear down the walls and burn the place.
What I heard is an interesting statistic. I was listening to Steve Bannon War Room, and they said I don't know what poll it was, but like 32% of people polled in this one poll say that they want the election reversed.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Listen, I think what I'd like to see is that hopefully the Republicans get in and then there's an investigation, a real one.
More votes than any president ever.
We have the mechanism. Our mechanism has not, it's shaky right now, but listen, you get a 2022 election, the Republicans get in, they start investigating things. Maybe Biden will be impeached. But my point being is, let's get back to the medicine part of this.
Yeah.
I don't want to end this because I want to talk about surgery in pregnant women, because I want to do a little medicine here. We started with medicine, the vaccine. Here's the thing. The big issue is going to be whether or not to get your kids vaccinated.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, as a physician and a human being, and seeing what's on the ground here, it's a tough decision.
Yeah.
There's no easy answer.
And I got to tell you something, folks. The answer isn't listening to us. It isn't listening to any other show on television. The answer is you, your husbands, your mates, whatever, and your kids talking together about it and making that decision in your own personal home. It's your right, and you fight for it as hard as you can.
And I think that you should get on the school boards and like right now, there's an election in New Jersey.
Yeah,
I would vote this Murphy out. Because he wants to mandate it, and the other guy may not. Virginia, there's a big, mandates. Like I said, they're wrong. They're going to backfire, and all they're doing is causing more misery, more pain. Here's the other thing. I was a hero 6 months ago. Police officers were heroes. Nurses were heroes. Nurses were heroes 6 months ago, right? I know 2 girls at the hospital right now who are both pregnant, refused to get the vaccine, and they're going to be fired. I thought they were heroes.
They were first responders. They were saving people's lives.
They worked on the floor. Listen to this. They worked on the floor. On the hospital where it was a corona floor. Right. They held the hands of multiple people who died because it's another thing. Because this government would not let you go in there and hold the hand of your mother, father, uncle, brother,
wife. The only comfort they had were from these nurses, because they could not hold their daughters or their sons' hands.
And that was wrong too. That's why I throw this governor out of here. Not because I think he's a bit, but I think it was poor. They overstepped their executive branch authority. They abused their power. In my opinion, they abused their power. But getting back to the nurses. They were
I was going to say
first responders. I was going
to say Murphy. We got to get rid of Murphy. He's crap. So let's all vote in shit. Really.
I know. Listen, lesser of two evils.
There, though.
I know. But here's the thing, though. The ironic thing here. These 2 girls were heroes. Both of them are pregnant. One had coronavirus and has antibiotics. And the other one is like, I'll get it as soon as I'm done with my pregnancy. Just let me work. She'll sign the paper. She wants to work there as she's being,
it's a job.
Why don't we just if that's what they want, let them sign the paper and let them go in there. Just like if my mother or father was dying of corona, give me a hazmat suit or whatever. I'll go in. I'll sign the papers.
Sure.
I'll isolate myself for 14 days. But what right do these people have to tell me I can't go and hold my son or daughter or mother, father? I would have listen. If it was me, I would have bum rushed that hospital. Not with guns. I just would have walked. They would have arrested me probably. But
when I was
it's wrong. What are we doing? Listen, I'm very sure these people. I don't want to get on my butt. They're good people.
Yeah.
The governor of the state is good people. Everybody, I don't see, Biden, but I don't think they understand what are these people.
What are these people willy-nilly, regardless of their work history, what they've done
but it's the
in
same
their
thing.
job.
It's the same thing, Jeremy. It's the same thing. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's the same thing. Where's our humanity?
Yeah.
You send all these people to the nursing home. They were going to die there. Why? We're so worried about the hospitals getting clogged up. That wasn't ever going to be that's bull crap.
Yeah.
You had a ship up there.
They still say that, Mike.
Right.
The emergency rooms are packed.
I was there
across the nation.
I was there. I was in the hospital. Myself, Dr. Kadersha, we were there. We were like, why you send these people out of here? Oh, we have to. It's the law. So my point is that, again, I don't want to criticize them and say that I don't know what's in their heart, but I'm just telling you, I'm telling everybody out there, listen, lighten up. We're dealing with our friends, our family. Parents want to make the right decision for their kids. These nurses want to do the right thing, but you can't flip flop, and you can't treat people like garbage, and you can't trash on their civil. I have a God-given right to like the founding fathers said, pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Wealth, prosperity, property. All right. These nurses have the right to make the decision. They made their decision. They put their lives on the line. They could have walked out before the vaccine was there. So my point is that this is coming to a head right now, and like I will let you finish up on this topic because I got very emotional about this.
No, of course
But
you do.
I think that I don't require violence or anything like that. What we need to do is go to the ballot box right now. The election is right now. I voted Monday. You could go out and vote right now. You're pissed off at this stuff. You don't like what happened with the nursing homes. You don't like what's going on with the mandates. Vote him out.
Yeah.
That's our right. We have the right. And then once this other guy gets in, maybe or maybe not, there'll be an investigation. I could care less. That's water underneath the bridge right now. He has to, the governors of all these places in this country, that when they go to their maker, they're going to have to, answer to Jesus Christ and what they did. Right. And that's I don't judge. I don't, we're not the judge and jury. We're not, the executioner. It's up to the Lord to take these people's, whatever price hopefully they'll accept Jesus and not, and they'll forgive their sins. But getting back to what we need to do, vote them out. And again, I want to throw this out there. These mandates are bad medicine. Bad medicine. Yeah. Well, you really got the last word, Jeremy.
My last word is you're 100% correct. I believe the one thing each one of us as Americans need to do is vote the power out of their hands, and that we can do very soon. You vote Republican, okay? Listen, I used to be Democrat until 2019,
until you got a few bucks in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding.
No, but I used to, no, the reason why
that's always the college kids, every college kid was a liberal, and when they got a job, like, what is this? What are they taking? What is this PIC out of my paycheck? I'm like,
no. I mean, see, the thing about me, I've never been motivated by money. I've never been. Yeah. But you got
a good heart.
I have a strong sense of what's right and wrong.
Right.
And when I was a Democrat, it was because I thought we were the good guys. Okay. And until I realized I didn't feel that way anymore. I felt like we were the bad guys, and I no longer wanted to be a part of it. See, so we have to vote the bad guys out. Yeah. They did.
And Jerry, let me just say something, because I wouldn't see. To me, I'm a little bit more. I wouldn't say they're bad people. I think they're good people or average people or not neutral, but they're making bad decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're making these bad decisions. Maybe it's that, they had to make a decision, but I think they need to be removed, through the process of voting and primaried out, because they are making bad decisions. Good people can make bad decisions. So I understand, you're passionate, but
my thing,
I don't know if they're really necessarily bad, but they're doing bad. Now, they're doing bad things
right now. If it's bad things for the country, let's get them out. Let's get some newer thoughts in, and honestly, right now we can vote and get the Republicans in, and it cuts the legs out from underneath the president. He's not going to be able to pass all these nightmarish things he wants to put forward that's going to change the America that we loved. Hey,
listen, I'd love for the governor call us up on the show, or text us, or Bernie Sanders, who's stumping for him. Yeah. And I don't think these are bad people. I mean, they have a lot of good thoughts, a lot of good things. Bernie Sanders is a populist. I thought it should have been a race between Bernie Sanders and Trump. I think we would have had a better outcome because even Bernie Sanders, is really far to the left. He's a populist. He believes in that ideology. Anyway, let's end this. It's going to come up in the next month or so.
We can make that change happen, and it's in our hands again. Let us not make the same mistake we did in 2020.
And don't sit there and say, I vote, it doesn't matter, the machines. That's you can't give up. You can't give up.
I put the machine enough, and believe me, after the mess the last election was, there are eyes very carefully trained on that stuff.
Did you vote yet?
No.
So I went and voted Tuesday. Let me just tell you the process, just so you know, just so everybody knows. Because I went there early voting. You go in, you give them their name, and they didn't need any ID, which I thought, but I gave my name, and I said where I lived, and so it matched up. I said, how do you know it's me? They don't know. It's just, so anybody could say. So that's number one that I thought was pretty interesting. No ID required, right? Even though I had my driver's license, it didn't need it. Then you go out and they give you a couple pieces of paper, and you go to the other thing where the booth is. They give you a card, plastic card. You put it in, and it opens up the machine. There's the ballot. It's an electronic ballot.
So they give whoever claims they are Michael
Yes.
Kachmar
Yes.
a plastic card.
Yes. All I need to know is how to spell my name and my address.
Jesus.
That was it. So then I went over there and but you know, here's the thing. I'm going to assume that they're doing the right thing. So just don't, you know, but I think there should be ID, but that's
you, my friend, are so hopeful.
I know.
Yeah.
So then it prints it out. Then you take the big ballot. It's like real big. And you put it in a manila folder, which is too small for the thing. It's sticking out on each end. It's like a hot dog, you know?
Yeah. So easily reopened.
No. Then you bring it over to another station.
Yeah.
And it's the Dominican, what is it? The Dominican, what's the name of the company? It's doing
Dominion.
Dominion. It's a black, big, it looks like a computer, a printer. And it says Dominion right on it, and it sucks it up, and it takes
like the old Whopper computer from the War Games movie. Remember that movie?
Yeah. So it sucks it in, and that's it, So I said to the girl, I said that thing there has a lot of controversy. So who the heck knows? But you can't.
So we're making the same mistakes all over again, and expecting a different response.
But listen, I don't know that, but you can't, if you just give up and say the process is corrupt, and you know. It may be, but you don't know 100%, and you cannot give up, because that's when then there's no hope. Then you got to get out there and vote, and maybe just maybe, you know, things will turn. Things will be done correctly. There won't be corruption, and I think there's always been a level of corruption. We just didn't realize it, and so
there was always a level of corruption. We always assumed.
But who knows? I don't want to get
into it. Was nothing, anything that we would.
So anyway,
write home about.
I just want to tell you how my voting experience was, and what do I think about it? I mean, you know, before all of this went down, again, I'm skeptical because of all the crap that went down. Not with November 3rd or January 6th.
Yeah.
It was all before that. It was all a bullshit for 2 years. You know, Russian collusion and Trump this and everything. You know, it was all, you know, it's all bullshit. And how can we believe anything anymore? And, you know, I watch these people on TV.
See, they learned how to control the country, though, by character assassinating Trump.
Yeah.
It was easy to do there. So why not apply that to anything else they want to do?
You know, if you look at the history, there's always been, you know, the Hearst and newspapers that ran this country. The FBI, you know, with Hoover, they say he had, you know, dossiers on everybody, including every president. So I don't know what level of corruption there is now as opposed to then. But here's the thing: don't give up, vote, and you got to be vocal. Try to change these things and understand. Don't be hateful. Don't think that these people. I think these people are good people. They're just doing bad things. I think the governor of the state.
The minute you curse, the minute you get violent, you lost.
No, okay? You lose.
Just please bear that in mind.
No
if you're
threats.
Fighting for us, you do it peaceably. And you do it right.
Right. Because Jeremy, we still have the power to do it peacefully. There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, to get violent whatsoever. Because the cool, calm, collected individuals are you know, we have God, we have the right, all of that. And I think that, like, that's why I appeal to our governor right now. If he does get reelected, please just, you know, how about listening to us and the other side and saying, listen, you know, some of the things you did I don't think are right. And, you know, maybe, just maybe maybe he'll say, hey, you know, maybe that guy's right. Maybe, you know, I went overboard a little too far. You know, maybe I should have done this. Maybe, you know, and, you know, again, I think the biggest, saddest thing was not letting these poor people see their loved ones. And I understand why they did it, but I tell you what, I don't think it was worth the misery and the agony of watching your mother die from a window out with a pair of binoculars.
Because you can't tell me that's not going to have long-lasting effects.
And what was the really risk of her getting, you know, that daughter getting infection and spreading around? Maybe in the first beginning, but after that, you know. So anyway, I don't want to beat it up because I'm a Christian and I believe in people are good. You know, we are sinners. And that's why, you know, we have the Constitution and Bill of Rights, because, you know, we could be corruptible, but we also forgive. We also
laugh at that because you were wondering how.
But we also forgive, Jeremy.
The
thing is, what we need to do is we need to forgive. We need to move on. We need to try to, you know, work this thing out and look from the mistakes and not, criticize each other. Anyway, let me just talk about a little bit about medicine, the case of the week, and we can finish
let's get
up.
back on that.
Yeah, let's, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's.
Yeah,
you like that?
See? Yeah. It's like standing at a window when the Pope walks out. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's another whole thing. So I just want to talk about a little about medicine, because this is a medicine show. We talked about the coronavirus and the vaccines in children.
Yeah.
We also want to talk about when we have a woman who's pregnant and gets an injury, a fracture. And this is, we don't normally do elective surgery on pregnant women. You might ask why? Why not? Why, what about giving Botox or breast enlargement, or, say they have a little, shoulder that's, has a tendon.
No. Let's get back on that breast enlargement. Yeah. What are you moving on for?
So, we don't do that because why? Because it could jeopardize the baby. How can it jeopardize the fetus?
Anesthesia could hurt.
Anesthesia, medication. If you have a complication, you say you got an infection, we have to, give you antibiotics, and it stresses the body. So we generally don't want to operate on a pregnant woman unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
So then comes my field. So I deal with a lot of injuries, and some of the injuries are fractures. And what I mean by fracture is broken bones, broken ankles, broken foot, and so some of these need to be operated on. Now, I'm very sure everybody here has had a friend who had, say, an ankle fracture, and they needed to have it operated on. Now, not all ankle fractures have to be operated on. It depends on what type of ankle fracture, if it's what we use the terminology unstable, or if it's what's the word I want to use? If it's displaced, which means the bones are so far apart. So what do you do? And what do we do? Like, what do you do in a situation when you have a pregnant woman who's like, say, first trimester, and they have a displaced fracture? So then, so what happens there is, again, it's the same argument you're making with regard to your, to a certain degree, should you have the vaccine or not? What's the lesser of two evils? There's some unknowns here. I don't know if I operate on the patient, if she's going to have a complication that could affect the baby. Most of the time, not. I do the operation, the wound heals up, there's nothing, and, kumbaya.
Yeah.
But you don't know. Now, the other side of the coin is, if you don't operate on them, will there be a long-term disability where they have a limp, or they can't walk, or they have chronic pain? That's not a good thing either.
Yeah.
So you have.
I mean, when you're pregnant, the last thing you want is anything like this to happen, because one, your hands are tied on the courses you can take to get it better, right? Yeah.
Well, but sometimes they can't help it. I mean, it happens. People fall down. It's just one of those things. So what do you do? And a lot of people probably don't think this, because like, oh wow, they must have. Can't they do something? Put a shield on, So I just had one just recently, and it was one of those right on the borderline. Can you just leave it alone, or it should be operated? And a lot of times when they're really displaced, you could reduce them, which means you can move it and put it in a cast, and if it's close to where it should be, you call it a day. And these are tough decisions. And what I'm going to recommend is, if you do have one of these situations, you get a second opinion, maybe even a third opinion, because, this one, what I had, the radiologist read it as non-displaced. And then I showed the x-ray to one of my colleagues, and he said, oh no, that's displaced. It needs to be operated on. Then I showed it to another one. He's like, nah, I wouldn't operate on it. So they're tough cases. And these are all high-end, well-trained individuals who see a lot of trauma. We all do. And we still have difficulty on it. And it boils down to, sometimes the patient making the right, not the right decision, but making a decision, because, we can only do so much. So it's a tough one. But I just want to throw it out there, because we do see it every once in a while. And, we get all kinds. I mean, I get people who are heroin addicts. We get people who are, have, cancer. They have, comorbidities, rheumatological disorders, heart disease, it goes on and on and on. Sometimes we can't operate because the risks are just too high, even though it's indicated. Other times have to, because if we don't operate, or you can be severely crippled.
Yeah.
So it becomes a real issue, and it's something I just wanted to close out as, is that if you,
and unfortunately, it's the discomfort to the female too, that they have to
all the stress.
the stress, but there's also that pain, like
Oh,
the pain that's going to be radiating, and there's no simple or fast solution for that pain. It's tough because they can't take anything for the pain. Again, nothing stronger than a Tylenol.
no.
It's hard for the patient, what they have to go through under that circumstance.
Right. And sometimes when you operate on these patients and they stabilize everything, they feel better.
Yeah.
They get off the pain meds real quick, as opposed to just letting them in a cast and it's deformed and they have a lot of pain. It's a tough call. I don't begrudge or anybody. I just want to throw it out there that, I think what you need in a pregnant woman with a trauma that's questionable whether or not it needs to be operated on, you need to bring a team approach. You need to have more than one physician. More experience, the better. You got to bring in the OBGYN, get their opinion, things just like for prophylactic blood clots and stuff like that. So if any of your listeners are out there, my listeners, and you guys, have anybody who is pregnant and has an injury, it's a time of the essence too. I mean, if you're going to operate on something, you like to operate it within 2 weeks, so you do have some time frame, maybe like 10 days, but you also want to get a second opinion. It's a tough one. It's one of those things that
preventatively, when you're pregnant, really overthink your steps. Like when I got injured, I was a stuntman back in the day, and I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But then when I got injured, I had to relearn how to move. I would imagine the same thing would happen if you're pregnant. You got to relearn how to walk and step carefully, because you are carrying a precious bundle in you.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is give yourself complications during that time.
Yeah. Well, what we forget, and one of the OBGYN, one of my colleagues told me many years ago, he goes, Mike, he goes, when I get a patient, when I get this pregnant woman in my practice, say they have some kind of, sickness, whatever, he goes, I'm not just treating one person, I'm treating two.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes, I think when I was doing my training, pregnant woman, you kind of like looked at the baby, fetus as, part of her, like that's, but it's not, it's different. It's because they're at more risk for, chemical exposure, radiation exposure, all of that. And it's not just, part of her body where you could give her.
It's a life form who can't deal with the same things that you could deal with.
No. Right,
so you've got to treat that differently because of it.
Right.
And honestly, the women that do fall and do injure themselves, it's not their fault. That's why my warning earlier about just being over careful, maybe a little bit more careful, especially when you're going up steps or stepping off of a curb. Anything you can do to make to keep yourself from injuring yourself.
But I tell you what, I was coming back one time
because back in the day in like the 80s, especially in like the shows, if a pregnant woman walked in, everybody leaped out of their chair. Oh no, come on, here, sit down now, sit down. And they treated her like kid gloves because they were afraid that at any moment she could just take a spill and there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting out of a car once and there was black ice on the asphalt. I didn't, it was a parking lot, and I just went right down. Thank God I didn't break my hip. And so it happens. I wouldn't. There's no way I would blame any woman who's pregnant. They should be more careful.
But no, not at all. But it is a rough situation once you're in
it. Yeah. I just tell people out there that you need to talk to the OBGYN. You need to look at the radiologist. We bring the radiologist in, and we, normally what I do is when I get an ankle fracture, I'll if it's real obvious on the X-ray, I almost always get a CAT scan. If I see, in the hospital, I like a CAT scan, because a CAT scan it's not an MRI, a CAT scan. It's a great scan. It's real quick. You could do it within 10 minutes. And as an MRI, you can sit there a long time, but I got a good anatomy. From that, you can see where the fracture fragments are, and you can plan your incisions a little bit better. I think it's just a good thing. Some of my colleagues don't get them. They could understand an X-ray better than I do, I guess, so they have a little bit more, but I get the CAT scan, and then, we operate on them. But you can't get a CAT scan. It's a lot of radiation. And so you're limited to just looking at the x-ray. And x-rays can be very, challenging. And we can do what's called a closed reduction. So that's where you dump some you dump some anesthesia in there,
Right.
which is usually not harmful to the fetus, and then you put the ankle into a position and cast it.
Mm.
Hopefully, it's in a better position. It's called closed reducing. So we normally open reduce. You open it, you put plates and screws.
Right.
But closed reduction means you don't make a cut. You just move it a little bit and try to get it in a better position. Sometimes you luck out. Sometimes it comes back. But the big point I wanted to make is that it's a big challenge. There's no right or wrong answers on these. Sometimes it's a matter of risk versus benefit, and you need to have. You can't. I don't think I would rely on one, individual. I would definitely ask some opinions, and the OBGYN is a real good one because they could, and it's different risk levels. I think as the trimesters, as your pregnancy advances, it might be a little bit better. But I've had a couple patients over the years who were pregnant, and the one we didn't operate on, and that was probably 30 years ago, and she did real well, but it was a tough one because the parents didn't know she was pregnant.
And you've always said, it's not enough to know what to do, but sometimes what not just to do nothing. Do nothing. It's almost better sometimes for people.
I think it's the hard. What I say is. It's very hard to know when not to operate.
Yeah.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it's harder to know. I mean, because you got an ankle fracture and it's like in left field,
right,
and it's both sides, or I mean, I mean, that's unstable. You got to get, you got to get in there. I mean, it's not, but it's those ones that are on the edge, and especially here's a good one right here. It's very minimally displaced, because if it's non-displaced, you could even leave it alone. But if they're pregnant, now you add a level of complexity and risk that sways it back. So, there's a situation where, it may be the better road to take is not to operate on that person.
Right.
So, those things are tough decisions, real tough. And that's why, I agonize always. I treat everybody like a family member, and, I have no problems, falling on my colleagues. And this is because, it's always amazing to me. I'll have patients in my office because I'm a sole practitioner. I have a couple of guys I work with, but I'll tell patients, my colleague, get a second opinion. And I think sometimes, some people think that, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. But I have people who have, real bad problems, and they're like, we're going out to, University of Pennsylvania. Like one friend of mine, he had really bad nerve. He had a drop foot, and I worked him out. And I sent him out there actually.
Or a lot of people, like in New Jersey, especially, a lot of people think, I got to go to somebody in New York.
But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing, though. But when you go to when you go to these hospitals, you get a team, and that's one of the reasons why they could be sometimes better, because they have 4, 5, 6, 7 doctors looking at your case.
Right.
So I mimic that here. I do that. My team is my colleagues, and I have no problem. I mean, I call them up, that. I'll say, hey, Mike or Jim or John, or I say, listen, I got this patient. It's right on the edge. I'm not sure. I got 30 years of experience. I've done, I mean, the surgery I could do easily.
You just sent Dr. Jasper a patient.
Yeah. I mean, we go back and forth, and Gabe sends me. I have, orthopedic surgeon. We send, back and forth. I mean, we all have our little niches and niches, and I mean, what we're experienced at.
Yeah.
But
the wheelhouse.
Yeah. But you don't. And if you go in there and the doctor's like, you're pregnant and you got to operate on this, you say, well, and don't be afraid. Get it. I said, listen, I just want to get another opinion. I'd like to talk to the OBGYN. I might want to go, not that I don't like you. And then, it could set up a controversy, because then the next doctor says, don't operate on it. The first guy said, operate on it. Then you got somebody else who may say, don't, but at least, you're in that kind of wheelhouse where you probably could do either or and be okay. If you got 3 doctors saying operate, 3 doctors say no, I mean, but at least if you have, 1 doctor says don't and 4 that say do, maybe, so my point is, it's nice to have, I think sometimes we don't think of this concept of multiple doctors, multiple evaluations. You say, well, then no, some of these things are so razor cut, just like the vaccine with kids. It's razor cut. It's a matter of, risk versus benefit. So anyway, I just think, second opinion. What do we say, Jeremy, all the time?
Second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions, fifth opinion. We'll take them all.
So
Take them all. I think you're up to like 15,000 opinions.
So let's just finish up. My name for the podcast, my name is Dr. Michael Kachmar. You could get us and reach us at our webpage, which is, we have two. So we have a webpage, which is JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. Did you put that up?
Yes, sir.
So it's up there, JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. That's our webpage. That's a landing platform. You could hit that. It'll give you the information how to get in contact with us. We also have a email that we're throwing out now, which is up there. It's
The email is
Dr. Kachmar, Kachmar at iCloud.com. We have it up on the screen there too. We live stream every week on YouTube and Facebook, multiple Facebook. We have 2 Facebook channels, 1 YouTube channel. We're on Twitch and Twitter. And we're all over the place. Just go on the internet and put Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Right.
We also have a LifeGuard channel. So you could always watch that too. But for now, we have and we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast, and a slew of others.
Audible. I mean, wherever you can find a podcast.
Right.
Do a search for Scrubbing Up. You'll find us.
Right. And so wherever you are in the world, you can listen to us. And if you do listen to us and you're at a different time frame, like text us or give us a message, especially the email. We love to hear from people. We're going to open up our lines next time. We're going to have a phone, and we're going to open up our lines, and we're going to, take call-ins. So anyway, Jeremy, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, take care, everybody. We had a great show today, and I want to thank all of our new watchers and new listeners, wherever you are. Tell your friends, share our show so we can get out there more, and be brave and be kind, okay? It's a tough time. Let's do that.
Yes, and on that thought, listen, what does it say? You get more flies or bees with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, you catch more flies.
Let's key down the rhetoric. How about we're saying that everybody's good, but some people have done some naughty things.
Yeah, questionable.
And I think maybe they need to be in a corner for a little bit.
Yeah.
But remember, I think most people, 99% of people in politics and everything, are trying to do the best thing they can, the right thing, and maybe it didn't turn out the best way. So let's pray for everybody. And guys, we're here. Ask us questions, and we'll be here next week. And thank you very much for listening to us. All right.
Take it easy.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.